He is the orphanage's most celebrated prince, the coveted adoption target of numerous families. Yet he rejects adoption tens of thousands of times, refusing to leave that dreadful orphanage, all for the girl he loves most there. However, fate has a wicked sense of humor. They get adopted by the same family on the same day. What seems like sheer coincidence is actually orchestrated by him. When Nica was 8, a horrific car crash killed her parents during a family road trip. Left with no one to turn to, she was sent to an orphanage more like a damp, gloomy cemetery than a home. There was no laughter, only strict rules and the cold-hearted headmistress. The moment they met, the headmistress ordered a boy named Rigel to seize Nica's butterfly necklace, the only keepsake from her mother. Here, everything was shared. Personal items were forbidden. Though Nica resisted, she had no choice but to obey. She thought the necklace had been thrown away, unaware that the boy had hidden it. In this orphanage, every child had suffered the headmistress's invisible punishments. But Rigel was the exception. Instead of punishment, he received the headmistress's tender care. She treated him like a son, even teaching him to play piano. Despite living in hell, Nica clung to a dream, a real family of her own. But for many years, no adoptive family ever chose her. Until the year she turned 16, the kindly Mr. and Mrs. Milligan finally reaches out. They sympathize with Nica's car crash trauma because their own son died in a similar accident. But escaping the orphanage for good isn't so easy. The headmistress tells Nica that it's just a trial period. Custody can be revoked any minute. Apparently, she's warning Nica to keep her mouth shut about what happened at the orphanage. As Nica and her adoptive parents are about to leave, a melodious piano tune suddenly floats from the hall. The player is Rigel, who has rejected every adoption offer. The Milligans are drawn to his unique presence and decide to adopt him alongside Nica. To the headmistress's horror, Rigel accepts without resistance. She tries every trick to get the Milligans to give up adopting Rigel, but in vain. Anyway, Nica escapes the cemetery and finds a home. Yet she's far from joyful. The thought of living close to Rigel fills her with tension. Though they have spent 8 years in the same orphanage, they barely speak. So Nica begs Rigel to make peace with her for the rest of the day so that the adoption process can go smoothly. However, Rigel tells her to stay away, slamming the door just as cold as ever. She assumes he hates her, unaware he has a headache, and he'd rather push her away than let her see him pain. At dinner, the adoptive father asks if they got along in the orphanage. Nica lies that she and Rigel were like siblings. Without contradicting her, Rigel slips his left hand under the table and pinches her thigh. Nica makes an excuse to flee to the bathroom, but Rigel follows hot on her heels. Nica is both ashamed and angry at his rudeness, but his touch haunts her. It's a strange longing she can't shake. She can only hiss at Rigel to stay away, saying that sooner or later, the foster parents will see him for who he really is. The Tearsmith. Nica's reference to the Tearsmith is the most popular story of the orphanage, which is also the title of the movie. It tells of a dark world where no one cries. People live like empty souls, devoid of emotion. But there is a Tearsmith, who creates crystal tears with his glass-clear eyes. In order to feel a shred of emotion, people would plead with the Tearsmith, and he would put his own tears into other people's eyes, so that they could feel all kinds of emotions. For Nica, the orphanage was the dark world where only Rigel could enjoy the precious emotions. Little did she know that the one who received special attention was the most pitiful one. On the first day of school, Nica and Rigel shine like two dazzling stars, becoming everyone's main topic of discussion. The Stings, one moody and handsome, the other beautiful and quiet, couldn't be more popular. Before even entering the classroom, Nica makes 2 new friends. In contrast, Rigel gets into a fistfight with a boy in the hallway. It turns out the boy was making lewd jokes about Nica to his friends, right as Rigel walked by and heard them. Unaware that Rigel was defending her, Nica finds his behavior bizarre. At night, Nica asks why he refused adoption for years, but agreed this time. Though Rigel's words still sting, she doesn't back down. She wraps ice in a towel to reduce the swelling on his wound, but Rigel warns her to stay away. Otherwise, he will not be able to control himself. Nica is terrified, yet irresistibly drawn to his alluring darkness. Despite trying to keep his distance from Nica, whenever Nica is approached by other boys, Rigel coincidentally passes by. He's like a ravenous wolf who's afraid that his lamb will be snatched up by someone else. On the weekend, the foster parents take the two children out clothes shopping. The foster mother picks a blue floral dress for Nica. When she steps out of the fitting room, Rigel is spellbound. Nica flushes under his intense gaze and flees back inside. Later, the foster mom loops a belt around her waist, hoping to accessorize. Unexpectedly, the moment the belt is cinched tight jolts awake a long-buried fear deep within. Nica, as a child, when she made a mistake, the headmistress would tie her to the bed in the dark cellar. Whenever she was too scared to open her eyes, a hand would always be there to hold her, to give her comfort and courage. She had always thought those hands belonged to her best friend Adeline, never imagining they were Rigel's. The boy she thought hated her most had done far more for her than she ever knew. Once, when the headmistress was about to punish Nica, Rigel stabbed his palm with a fork to distract her. The necklace Nica had cherished most was also kept by him as a treasure. Rigel knew the headmistress's love for him was twisted. Once he showed his affection for Nica, it would only bring her trouble. So he buried his feelings for years, begging her best friend to keep it a secret. Today is the annual garden day, when each student will anonymously gift a rose to someone they hold dear. Roses of different colors carry distinct meanings. The moment Nica opens her locker, a mysterious black rose conspicuously lies there. Her friends are shocked to see it, because black roses symbolize a tormented obsession, a love that's impure. At their explanation, Nica's mind zeroes in on one person who'd pull such a stunt. She storms into Rigel's room, a black rose in hand, and asks him why he sent it to her. Instead of arguing, Rigel shoves her onto the bed, sparks of ambiguity echoing between their eyes, when suddenly the foster mother's shout from downstairs yanks them back to reality. It turns out Lionel, the guy who often hits on Nica, has come to the door, inviting her to go to the dessert store with him. Perhaps to avoid embarrassment, Nica agrees to his offer. Rigel watches, jealousy roiling in his chest. The more he thinks about it, the worse his headache gets. He can only rely on medication to ease the anxiety and depression. Not long after, Lionel walks Nica home in the rain, holding his school uniform over her head, showing that he likes her being strong. Nica instinctively dodges his attempt at intimacy, creating distance between them. But this scene still pierces Rigel, who stands by the window. His head pounds harder, the pain spiraling out of control. Seeing the pain on his face, Nica rushes forward to show her care, but she only gets a loud shout from him. Nica knows from the bottom of her heart that Rigel is not a monster. She doesn't hate him, but wants to understand him, because only he can make her heart beat faster. In the middle of the night, Rigel comes back with bruises on his face. It turned out that he had just run out to beat Lionel up, and due to the rain and his injuries, Rigel is running a high fever. At the moment, the foster parents are stuck out of town by the storm, leaving only the two of them at home. Nica struggles to carry him upstairs to the bedroom and help him change out of his wet clothes. As she feeds him pills and turns to leave, Rigel shows a vulnerability she's never seen, begging her not to leave him. In his feverish delirium, Rigel finally acts on his love. No words, just raw, unguarded gestures. Nica sinks into his kiss, completely lost in the moment. But when he comes to his senses, he pulls away sharply, creating a chasm between them. Neither breathes a word about that night, as if the memory itself is too fragile to touch. A few months later, Rigel marks his first birthday in the new family. The foster parents throw a simple party, hoping it'll be the start of officially adieu. Pitying them, they even invite Adeline, a close friend of the two children from the orphanage, to make the day special. Adeline has known since childhood that Rigel likes Nica. She also knows that he agreed to be adopted because he didn't want to be separated from Nica. But she can't understand why he hasn't confessed his feelings for Nica since they've already left that grave. Rigel replies that he can't bear to destroy Nica's dream. He has low self-esteem and thinks that he's a monster, unable to give Nica a warm home. Rigel's stuck in an emotional quicksand, blind to the fact that Nica actually loves him as much as he does. Early that morning, Nica had bought a snow globe, planning to give it to Rigel as a birthday present. Unfortunately, Lionel came over and kept pestering her. She rejected his advances, making it clear that Rigel would always be a part of her life. During the scuffle, Lionel knocked the snow globe out of her hand, shattering it. Thus, this birthday gift had to be scrapped. But before the midnight clock strikes, Nica still wants to give Rigel a gift. She asks what he wants. promising to grant his wish. Hearing this, Rigel can no longer hold back his love for her. He pulls her close, their bodies pressing together. Suddenly, a shrill doorbell pierces the air, shattering the intimate moment like a glass drop on concrete. And it's Lionel again. Lionel's intuition tells him Rigel's feelings for Nica run deeper than sibling love. He warns her that if her adoptive parents find out about this, they'll be sure not to adopt her. Lionel is overcome with jealousy and forces himself to kiss her. But Nica pushes him away. Even if she were to lose her home with such good parents, Nica can't give up on Rigel and wants to be with him. However, Rigel doesn't agree with her, saying she deserves a better boyfriend and a better life. A broken piece of trash like him can't give her happiness and will only hurt her. It's not until this moment that Nica finally realizes that he's been pushing her away just to make sure that she can live a normal life. Although Rigel was given special care at the orphanage, it left deep psychological scars. He was forced to watch his peers suffer without being able to do anything about it, and was trained by the headmistress to be a monster without a heart. If Nica hadn't come into his life, Rigel wouldn't be alive today. To ensure the one he loves finds happiness, he ultimately chooses to sacrifice himself. He goes to the foster mom and tells her that he refuses to be adopted and wants to go back to the orphanage. He entrusts her with a butterfly necklace, pleading for it to be given to Nica. At the same time, Nica attends the school dance with her best friend, oblivious to the impending danger. Lionel comes to her and asks her to dance with him. Without suspicion, she agrees. As the music grows frenzied, Lionel lures Nica into an empty classroom under the pretense of finding a place to cool off. He then attempts to do something terrible to her. Nica desperately tries to resist, but the music outside is so deafening that no one can hear her. Thankfully, in a moment of telepathic intuition, Rigel halts mid-journey and turns back. Finally, in the nick of time, he arrives just in time to rescue his beloved, chasing the pervert away. He'd been determined to leave Nica, believing it would let her find a better happiness. But the seemingly noble decision nearly destroyed her, leaving him consumed by overwhelming dread. Watching the man who risks everything for her, Nica no longer holds back. "I can't imagine a fairy tale without you," she confesses, her voice trembling with raw emotion. They strip away every layer of fear, baring their raw, unarmored souls to each other, like battle-scarred soldiers dropping their weapons at last. Yet the thorny path ahead still stretches on, uncharted and fraught with shadows. Lionel is so upset that Nica doesn't want him, so he even tries to run over the two of them with his car. In a moment of crisis, Rigel sweeps Nica into his arms and leaps off the bridge, shielding her body with his own as they hit the water. Nica only coughs up water and regains consciousness quickly, but 3 full days pass and Rigel remains in a coma. The cause of his coma isn't just the accident. He also has a neurogenic sheath tumor in his brain, which explains his frequent headaches. Due to Rigel's prior rejection of adoption, his guardianship now falls to the headmistress. Blaming Nica for stealing Rigel and causing the tragedy, the headmistress refuses to let Nica visit him under any circumstances. But Nica doesn't back down this time. She retrieves the butterfly necklace from her foster mother, stealing her resolve to rescue Rigel from the nightmare he's trapped in. With the support of her foster parents, Nica rallies her orphanage peers and takes the headmistress to court, resolutely exposing the many crimes she committed. Confronted with overwhelming evidence and witnesses, the headmistress can no longer prevaricate. What awaits her is a lifetime of incarceration in the depths of prison, and the victims of the orphanage will finally be freed from the heavy shackles that have held them in place for so many years. Overwhelmed with excitement, Nica races to Rigel's hospital room. Though he remains in a coma, she can't help but pour out everything to him. Perhaps it's her heartfelt confession brimming with love that gives him the strength to survive. Suddenly, Rigel's fingers twitch slightly, and he opens his eyes, overcoming every obstacle strewn in their path. This star-crossed couple finally finds the happiness they fought so desperately to claim. Nica eventually gives birth to a child as she's always dreamed, finally embracing the home she's yearned for. Love has never been a one-sided, silent sacrifice. It's about mutual support and encouragement. Nica and Rigel exemplify with their love that when two hearts cling together and support each other, they can surmount all obstacles and step into a future brimming with hope and happiness. May you find the one who captures your heart and the direction that your soul longs for. This is Maroon Recap. Check out my homepage and you'll see more recaps of the Tearsmith. I'm hastening to write and edit the next recap, so feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.